if God is someone you want to know, I mean personally know, not as some far off, distant, thingish person who's not really intimate in any way to you now and you struggle to get that intimacy, I encourage you to listen to this because you're not going to hear it anywhere. The Lord said many times in the Old Testament, or at least it's translated as he said, I am the Lord your God. Some 162 times it says this in the Old Testament. But the translators, because of the way our language is, add some things. And they add am, and they take it that the is implied. So they put the Lord. But this is a communication between the Creator and his creation. It's a contact point. Every single time he says this, he is making, or at least attempting to make a connection, one person to another person. And when I communicate to someone, I don't say, I am the father, I am the friend, I am the neighbor. The makes it formal. We instantly get a stance or an approach of something less personal when you put the in there. He's not mine. I know he goes on to say, I am the Lord your God, but our minds, the way we receive it, it gets in that formal sense because we hear the Lord. But those words he's saying there, the I, is absolutely emphatic. There is no doubt about what he is saying. He starts out saying, I, and then he says, exist. I exist. You're God. That's what he's saying. So, I don't hate, but I dislike using analogies. I already did one. But if you can try to relate how we relate to each other to God, it's difficult. It always breaks down because the only analogy for God is God. What if the Creator made himself available to you? There is no analogy for that. But you would say in a relationship, if your father was literally your creator, or your mother for that matter, would say, I exist. Your mother. This is where you came from. Literally. You see what I'm saying? But a mother can't say that. A father can't say that because that's not where you came from. And even if we want to believe that, we know it's not true because your mother and your father came from someone else and so on and so forth. There's one source where we all came from. And this is a personal thing, and this is what I want you to get in touch with. It's not the Lord. It's I exist. Your God, your creator, your designer. It's me, the only one. He's saying this, he, him, himself, to you, to me, to all of us. The Creator is crying out, is reaching out in a very personal way. And it's a two-way design, the way he made it. He wants to be reached for. He is reaching out too. So he may not explain this in this explicit way every time he says it, but it is expressed there, and it is knowable and seeable to those who reach back in response to that God who is reaching towards you and trying to communicate to you. Because God doesn't try, he does. The failure, if there is any, is on our part. It's not on his. He's not withholding himself. He's not keeping himself from us. He wants to be known, and he wants to know you. But there's two different kinds of people he can know. There are those who think of the Lord, and there are those who think of, you exist, my God. You are my God. And so, like I say, one of the most famous times he says this is in Exodus, where he first comes out and gives the first 10 before the people shut him down. And he identifies himself by something he's done. I'm going to read it the way I see it. Exodus 20, verse 2, I exist, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So they know these events. These are huge events. Not all of them even really like the events. Some of them are already longing to go back to their bondage. But he's identifying himself. Hey, equal opportunity here. You like me, you don't, I exist, you're God. So here's the choice I'm setting up for you. And I'm telling you what you should do and what you shouldn't do, but hey, it's on you. And the first thing he says is, you shall have no other gods before me. He's already identified who he is. I exist, your God. So when he says other gods, again, to go back to that analogy, that flawed analogy, if I'm communicating to you and I'm your friend, I simply communicate to you as your friend. I don't say, those other people, they are not me. The other people aren't me. No, I just tell you who I am. So he doesn't say, you shall have no other lords. You shall have no other I exists. What he's saying, I exist, is the only God. That's why you know they are not gods. Because they are not the I exist. They are whatever. They are carved images. They might be spirits. But they are not the one who exists. The one from which all things come. He is the only one who can make this claim. He is the only one. And that's why it is so personal. That's why we focus on that here so much. Life is about a person, the person of your creator and designer. He designed you to function a certain way, and that is in relationship with him. That's how you function the best. And even though you may think you have found the love of your life, the system of your life, the religion of your life, or whatever you think, and this is how it works. All of us know deep down that it's all dysfunctional. It's all just a mistake away. It's all breaking down right in front of us. But we want to believe it so bad because we don't have an understanding of the creator, of who he is, the one who simply exists as your creator, as your God, as your everything. So he goes on to say in verse 4, you shall not make for yourself a carved image, any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Now this is something that is another revelation you won't hear anywhere else, and you'll probably hate it if you believe in certain doctrines of men. Because God knows that lies would come up. He knew about the Trinity. It wasn't like, oh, wow, that was a curve. And the Trinity was the most clever thing that Satan came up with, because it made God himself the other gods. That's the perniciousness, the sheer evil, the profound evil nature of the Trinity, is that it makes God himself the other gods. Makes God a them and a they. It changes his pronouns to plural pronouns. And this is profoundly evil. And they use these tricks. They'll use the egg, they'll use the water, they'll use the sun to illustrate this. Well, guess what? This is what he just said don't do. He says, any likeness, and they add of anything, which is for emphasis, which is fine. But it's fine to leave the of anything out of it. Any likeness that is in heaven above. The sun is in heaven above. And when these Trinitarians, and I'm not saying they're pagan, but they're believing pagan teachings, they're believing in a pagan concept of God. They say, well, you see, God is like the sun. And I won't get into how they explain that, because I don't like repeating certain of these things. They are demonic. And you should not say the names of these spirits and these devils. And just as God has many names that represent who he is, so does the devil. And basically lies represent who he is. And that is one of his greatest lies, to say God is like nothing except God. God is God. That's why he's so emphatic when he says, I exist, your God. So that's the things in heaven. The sun, that's their analogy they use. Or that is in the earth beneath. The egg. There you go. God is like an egg. There's three parts. There's the shell, the yolk, and the white, but they're all the same egg. These things are profoundly evil. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want to get this through because I discuss things with people, and they do things that are so evil, I don't even know if they know what they're doing, and I disengage. I don't know what they think, but I disengage. Maybe they think they won, maybe they think I have no answer. But at some point, it's not good to engage with evil people that are overcome by evil, whether they're doing it intentionally or not. But they are literally working on behalf of the devil, of the enemy of God and man. Yes, their own enemy. And whether they're lost or not, I don't know. Like I say, my wife and I, we don't place people in heaven or hell. Only God does that. We don't even think we can. We have opinions, and if you knew me personally, I'd probably tell you what I believe, but I don't know. I don't think I know. I just have an opinion. Everyone has opinions. So we got the sun. You shall make for yourself. You shall not make for yourself a carved image. Any likeness that is in the heavens, like the sun, which is what the Trinitarians do, or that is in the earth, beneath, an egg, or that is in the water under the earth. The water itself, they use the water as an analogy, H2O. It's solid, it's liquid, it's gas. There you go. There's God. There's God. Which in itself, ironically enough, is basically a description of modalism, which they always condemn, which is another one of these evil canards that is just built and designed to disable you if you know who your God is. It's built to confuse you. It really is. Because even if you believe Jesus is a separate person, he is our prophet, priest, and king. So you believe in modalism regarding Jesus. I don't believe in modalism. I believe in a God who is able to do more than one thing at one time. He does not need to be more than one person. And we have a whole playlist on this subject, so I encourage you to look that up. It's called On the Person of Christ. We delve into much more about these issues. We have a lot to say about it. But know this, your God is one person. And he has always been one person. And he has always wanted his creation to know him for the person he is, the individual he is. Jesus Christ, the God of the individual, that is who he is. He is for individuals because that is who he is. Otherwise, we're just all in some club, in some group. And that's what much of religion is. It's getting in the right club or the right group because your God is a club and a group. Hey, join the collective. Jesus in the gang. Let's go. It's not about that. It's about knowing one person, the one who designed you, the world, and everything. And it only functions, or even begins to function, once you gain a basic understanding of the fact of the meaning of I am the Lord your God. I exist, your God. Get to know him. In Jesus' name, amen.